Today I'm doing some cold weather squatching. Bundle up. All right, out in Siloam Springs State Park in Illinois, doing a little squatching today. So this is kind of on the western, a little bit northern side of the state. It's about 3,500 acres or so of woodland. There's been a couple of reports here from the BFRO. The most prominent ones were investigated by Stan Courtney, but there's other incidents too. So we're out here kind of looking for some evidence. We'll see what we can find.
Nestled in the lush, rolling terrain of west-central Illinois, Siloam Springs State Park offers an enchanting wilderness experience that has also become a focal point for those intrigued by the unknown. Spanning 3,323 acres, the park's dense forests, secluded gullies, and pristine crests provide not only a sanctuary for native flora and fauna, but also a habitat that has captured the imagination of cryptid enthusiasts. The area's vibrant ecosystems, including wild roses, black-eyed Susans, white false indigo, and snapdragons, thrive alongside a sparkling lake and miles of trails, creating an idyllic setting for outdoor recreation and mystery. The park's remote and heavily wooded environment has drawn attention for more than just its natural beauty. It has been the site of several Class A Bigfoot sightings, including within the last couple of years. These first-hand accounts describe encounters with large, bipedal creatures in areas where thick vegetation and rugged landscapes offer ideal conditions for an elusive species to thrive undetected. With abundant wildlife, freshwater sources, and ample cover, Siloam Springs stands as a plausible Sasquatch habitat. Whether you're drawn by the allure of fishing, hiking, or the possibility of a cryptid encounter, this remarkable park holds a unique appeal for adventurers of all kinds.
This interview was conducted by Stan Courtney. Over the weekend we were camping, and I believe it was Sunday morning as we were packing up, that I decided to take a quick walk to smoke a cigarette. I followed a path and sat on a rock. While smoking, I heard a noise behind me. When I turned around, about 20 feet away, standing downslope, was what I first assumed to be a large man in a fur outfit with a pointed stocking cap. The figure stood at eye level with me due to the slope. Its fur wasn't a uniform color. It was a mix of browns, dark browns, and grays. The face appeared more human-like than ape-like. I estimated it to be around 7 feet tall, maybe taller. We locked eyes for a few seconds before it moved behind a tree and disappeared down a gully. Terrified, I bolted back up the path. The whole encounter lasted only seconds.
So as I'm looking for a more biological creature this time, I'm going to start off with some wood knocks, see if we get any responses, or maybe alert them to our presence to maybe bring them in. I'll have to keep a ear open, see if we get any responses as I'm going through the area, but again, maybe I'm just alerting them, maybe draw them in. There's not a lot of people out in the park. It's pretty cold, so, and it's a large park, so I think there's plenty of room. If we get away from the campsites, maybe that's where they're at. Maybe that's what I'll draw them in, draw some attention. So behind me we have a partially frozen lake, so we're kind of exploring this area to see if we can see any tracks along the shoreline, or maybe other signs of other creatures that might be in the area, such as, you know, your normal deer, fox, beaver, anything like that that would be a good food source.
Bigfoot sightings near water sources are commonly reported due to the practical advantages these environments provide for survival. Freshwater rivers, streams, and lakes offer essential resources like hydration, a rich food supply, including fish and vegetation, and cover for movement and hiding. Dense vegetation around water bodies provides excellent shelter and camouflage, which aligns with reports of Bigfoot's elusive nature. Waterways may also act as travel corridors, making it easier to navigate the terrain and avoid human encounters. Some researchers suggest that Bigfoot could instinctively stay near water during natural disasters, as these areas might be less affected by fires or provide refuge during extreme conditions 7 source, 8 source, 9 source. These habitats not only support essential needs but also minimize the risk of detection, allowing the cryptid to maintain its legendary secrecy. While speculative, this reasoning is consistent with many survival patterns observed in other wildlife.
But, you know, in terms of waterways, you know, there obviously seems to be a correlation between waterways and things like UFOs and other types of metaphysical phenomenon. But with regard to Bigfoot, we're talking about presumably an animal. And of course, all animals require water to drink. There's a food source. Bigfoot has often been reported as eating fish and mollusks and different things. So it'd be perfectly reasonable for me to accept that Bigfoot as an undiscovered species would be around the water. Now, if there were other things going on around the water, things like UFOs or strange ghost lights and things like that, then, you know, I think that could merely be a situation where you have this happy coincidence, if you will.
So we're on the backside of the lake and we're going to go down this old fire road. Last time we were here, my buddy Russ saw something floating in the woods. Maybe it was a hunter, probably. It was just really weird. He said he saw it floating and then just kind of disappeared. And when I say floating, it was just the way he saw the movement, and he said it was white. So you might think, well, maybe it's like a plastic bag or something like that floating, but I mean, there's a lot of woodland cover here. I don't think it was like plastic floating through the air. I think it was either somebody with a white shirt, a hunter, which kind of doesn't make sense, or somebody walking off trail. Don't know, but we're going to keep our eyes open on this section and go from there.
My husband and I were on a motorcycle ride to Siloam Springs State Park. We were driving about 40 to 45 miles per hour on a blacktop coming down a hill when I thought I saw a burnt tree trunk ahead on my right. As we got closer, I noticed hair, so I looked it up and down, and what I was looking at really shocked me. I could see his side view very clearly. It had a human body larger than a man's and very muscular. It had dark reddish-brown hair about 2 to 3 inches long all over except for the head and face, which was gray and white, and I could even see light flesh under it. It was standing straight with arms down by its side. I could even see its fingers. It was looking down at the ground and standing very still. The back of his head looked rounded, but from his side, he had a pronounced brow area that slanted upward to the crown of his head. His head looked like it set directly on his shoulders. I didn't notice a neck. His face didn't have much hair, and his lips looked thin and wide. When we drove back by the spot where I saw it, about 20 minutes later, there was nothing there.
The diet of a Bigfoot in the Midwest, assuming its existence, would likely reflect an omnivorous pattern to suit the region's seasonal and ecological offerings. Midwest forests and plains provide a diverse range of food sources. Bigfoot might consume wild fruits and berries like blackberries, raspberries, and elderberries during summer and fall. Nuts, such as acorns and walnuts, could be important in autumn. Insects, grubs, and small mammals might supplement protein needs, while fish from rivers or streams could offer additional sustenance. In agricultural areas, Bigfoot might forage corn, soybeans, or other crops, exploiting human-grown resources. During winter, its diet might shift to scavenging carrion, eating evergreen vegetation, or digging for roots and tubers beneath the snow. This varied diet would enable adaptability to the Midwest's changing seasons and diverse landscapes, reflecting a survival strategy consistent with a resourceful, elusive creature.
So kind of an interesting area for a deer carcass. We're kind of out in the middle of a flat area. Usually an animal will go die. Yeah, kind of like they'll go hide themselves in a safe area. So it's a little bit unusual. It's kind of down here by this waterway. I'm not saying it's Bigfoot, but it is a little bit interesting.
Some Bigfoot researchers suggest that Sasquatch may use natural elements such as trees and sticks as a means of communication or to issue territorial warnings. These researchers propose that Bigfoot places large logs, branches, or clusters of sticks across trails as signals to humans or animals to avoid certain areas. These formations, often found in remote or heavily forested regions, are described as having a deliberate and unnatural appearance. In addition to stick formations, tree breaks, where trees are bent, snapped, or twisted, are frequently cited as evidence of Bigfoot activity. Researchers theorize that these breaks serve as markers or warnings created with the creature's immense strength. While skeptics attribute such phenomena to natural causes like weather events or other wildlife, proponents argue they represent intentional messages from the elusive cryptid.
Woodpecker. No ape. Kind of on the edge of the park here, pretty open field. This would be a nice area for deer for sure. And now this is private property, so there's there would be hunters along the edge line here. But yeah, you can see this area stretches for miles. There's a ridge line over there several miles away. Another thing I like to do is carry a little audio recorder with me. Just kind of listen every once in a while, see if I pick anything up. Ideally, I'd have it clipped on somewhere and just running the whole time. The bad part about audio is you have to go back and listen to it. Unless you really know what you're looking for anomalies visually, it's a lot of time to go through audio. I think it's interesting how the wind can kind of mess with you. Like, I could swear I hear voices in the distance. I don't think so, though. It could be anything like tree creaks or whatever, but kind of like water, like running water messes with your ears too. So I think people often hear things that aren't there. So far, we're not really seeing any positive signs of a large ape-like creature. But there's plenty of room out here.
Our journey to Siloam Springs in search of Bigfoot was as much about discovery as it was about connection. With nature, with one another, and with the mystery that keeps us looking to the shadows of the woods. While we didn't capture any definitive visual evidence of Bigfoot on this trip, we did encounter signs that suggest potential activity in the area. Strange noises, broken branches, and other clues teased the possibility that something elusive might indeed call these woods home. Yet, as is so often the case with Bigfoot investigations, the evidence remains inconclusive. One thing is certain: the environment of Siloam Springs provides an abundance of resources that could support a creature of Bigfoot's purported size and habits. Even in the colder seasons, the availability of food sources such as nuts, berries, and small game makes this area a plausible habitat. Its dense forests and rugged terrain also offer the kind of seclusion such a creature would need to remain hidden from human eyes. Beyond the search itself, the trip offered something even more valuable: the opportunity to reconnect with the natural world. Surrounded by the stillness of the woods, we found joy in the simplicity of the outdoors. Time spent with friends, sharing stories, and exploring the unknown became the true highlight of our journey. Whether Bigfoot is a figment of folklore or a real, living creature remains a question for the ages. What we know is that the mystery continues to inspire adventures like this one, drawing us into the wilderness and leaving us with memories far more enduring than the answers we seek. For now, Siloam Springs keeps its secrets, and we leave with both wonder and a renewed appreciation for the great outdoors.